Hi, my name is Alex Glaser with the Glaser Group at Coldwell Banker. Thanks for joining me here today. What I'm going to be covering are the different ways that we can transition from selling your house to moving into your new one. So when you go to buy your first house, you don't have anything to sell. It's a very straightforward process. You may have a lease to keep in mind for timing wise. But essentially, you just qualify for your loan, you find your house, you go through the process, you close, you move in, and it's that simple. But what happens when you want to move again, and now you have a house to sell? There's a lot more variables to think about and consider when doing this, and it's a question I've been getting a lot recently with a lot of my clients. We call them first-time sellers, but this applies to anyone who has a house to sell and then wants to purchase another one. So there's three main ways to approach this, and not all of them may work for you, and you may not qualify for doing this first step, but I'm going to cover all three different ways to approach this, and then that way you can kind of start planning and get an idea of which route you want to go if this is something you're planning to do. So the first route is to buy your new house, close, then sell your old house. And this is one where you have to qualify with a lender to be able to technically afford two mortgages. The benefit in this is you can take your time, and especially right now in the market, it's leaning toward a seller's market. So it's going to probably be a lot easier to sell your house than to find and buy your next one. So what you'd want to do is, once you've qualified to be able to do this, we'll go out, take your time, find the house that you're looking for, buy it, close on it. And even if you wanted to, while you're pending on your new house, get the process of getting your house you're selling up for sale, we can definitely line it up. Or if you just want to wait for it to completely close and then sell your house, that way you know for sure that you're not going to run into any random surprises, we could do it that way as well. So, and then I guess the potential con to that is, let's say you buy your new house, we list your old house. There might be a month or two where you're carrying two mortgages. Depending on how fast we can sell your old house and close on it, there might be a little overlap. That's the risk with doing it this way, but the pro is that you can really take your time and find exactly what you want. So the next option is to sell, close, and buy. This is similar to the first option, but you may not qualify. Not everyone can qualify to carry two mortgages. So if you don't qualify to go route one, if that's something you'd want to consider, you'd have to consider one of these next two options. And this one being sell, close, and buy. Essentially, we're doing a similar process, but there's a little bit more work because you're going to have to find some sort of temporary housing in the middle. The pros is you don't have to worry at all about two mortgages, because we're going to close on your first one before you sign up for another one. Another benefit is you're not having to rush to find a new house. You can take your time and find just the one you need. The con is moving twice. Obviously moving, let's just be frank, it sucks. But if you got to just weigh the pros and the cons, the risk and the rewards. So if you don't want to worry about having two mortgages, if you want to take your time finding the house that you want, this is the option to consider. You don't have to move all of your stuff twice. One of the great options out there is a pod, or there's other types of moving boxes that do the same benefit. Essentially, you can load up all your stuff, and then they go and they store it, and then when you buy your new house, they just drop it off. So you're not having to unload and load and drive trucks twice. You're essentially only having to do it once. But you still would need some sort of temporary housing in between, whether you stay with friends, family, go to like a month-to-month rental, but that's definitely the downside to going this route. But again, you just have to weigh the pros and cons and see what works best for you. The third option is to sell and buy at the same time. This one's definitely the trickiest in terms of logistics, but the big pro is you're not having to move twice. The con is, depending on how we structure and able to lay out timelines with the buyer of your house, you're going to have a limited amount of time to find your next one. And if there isn't anything out there that you like, we could definitely set up the contract so you're not forced to move out. We can write a contingent upon you finding something, but then what we're doing there is we're reducing someone wanting to buy your house. They either need to have a lot of flexibility and they're able to wait, or it could be a turnoff from some people. And what we're doing there is we're reducing the pool of buyers that can consider your house, and in turn reducing the potential sales price by a little bit, just because not everyone is going to be able to purchase your home because of these logistics and timeline stuff. When considering this option, what's super common is doing a rent back. And a rent back is essentially the buyer closes on your current home and then you rent it back from them. Day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month. It really is just about figuring out the details. And again, until we find your buyer for your house that you're selling, it's hard to say for sure which route we will go, but it's very common, and that's one of the tools that we can use in helping the logistics of making this transition happen for you. One thing though, don't worry with this last step. I won't let you be homeless. We will structure any offers on your current house to where you're comfortable. If you don't want to go to option 2 and do any sort of temporary housing, we can structure it all so that won't be an option. Either we would be able to move forward, or the contract would end up getting void and we'd have to find a different buyer that could accommodate this type of transition. So I know this is a lot of information. I don't expect you to be an expert on it just from watching this video, but my intention was just to kind of give you a cliff notes, just a quick understanding of some of the potential options on the way to make this transition. If you have any questions at all, or if you want to talk about your personal goals and objectives in terms of moving, I'm more than happy to talk to you. And no commitment to using me by any means. I'm just here to help. But if you have any questions, or if you want to talk, all my information is here at the bottom. Again, my name is Alex Glaser with the Glaser Group at Coldwell Banker. I do appreciate you taking some time to check out this video, and hopefully I'll be hearing from you sometime in the future.